Bitcoin dips once again under 60K into the loving arms of the whales who, of course, bought the dip. Bitcoin, crypto, morning tea, hey. Good morning, everybody. My name's pianomattyb. That is Scaramucci's. This is your morning TA. A brief glimpse into the crypto markets where the sun's shining, where the wind's blowing. All the humble opinion of this piano Zamboni bringing the data. The FOMO index has plummeted to 32 from yesterday's 39. Bitcoin dominance 56.4%. 24-hour volume is 69 billion. The overall market cap 2.13 trillion. Give or take 100 million. Well, another day of the bull run with price action going the opposite direction. But we talked about this. Is that my landline? It must be my mom calling. She's the only one. Nope. That's historical norm. Normie, how's it going?
Hello, fancy fingers. It's been a while, but I prefer to lay low. Well, the market goes crazy because it's not moving, but, you know, that's how it goes. Now, I've been listening to everybody moan and groan about how long this consolidation has been, and bull market this and cycle that. And after all, man created language to satisfy his deep need to endlessly complain. Anyhow, there's a scary signal on the old horizon that I wanted to put your peepers on, and pardon me while we watch economic paint dry, but it's over on the monthly chart. If you could do the honors?
Sure, Normie. There you go.
Perfect. Thanks. Now, may I draw your eye to the MACD, and what do you see? That's right, it's getting uncomfortably close to curling down bearish. Now, it hasn't crossed bearish yet, and well, that's the saving grace here. But have we seen a quote-unquote bull run where the MACD crossed bearish and then continued up?
Is that rhetorical?
Yeah, my questions are. The answer is no. For instance, the bull run 2021. We see a cute little distance between the green and the red, and then after we hit the then all-time high, we start to curl but not cross. Then we have another little pump. Then she curls, and then she crosses, and then that's all she wrote for the bull run. Now, back to the 2017 bull run, we see this same cute little separation as we soar up to the then all-time highs, and then she starts to curl, and then she crosses, and well, then that's all she wrote for that bull run. Even further to the 2013 bull run, and we see the same cute little distance between the green and the red as she pumps to a then all-time high, and well, then she curls over, and then she crosses, and then that's all she wrote for that bull run.
Geez, Normie, that's downright horrifying and disappointing, to say the least.
Well, fancy fingers, let's not get all worked up right now. She's only curled over. She hasn't, and I repeat, has not crossed yet. But if she does,
Is that it, skis, for the Bull Run 2024? Normie? Yes, he hung up. Well, hey, it's good to be prepared for everything. After all, we're not guaranteed future price action based on past performance. We have data and we watch it closely. If it's telling us something, we have to listen. Ultimately, it's out of our hands where the price goes. But never forget, the money power parasites don't get into Bitcoin to get some. They get into Bitcoin to get it all. And when you sell it, they buy it till they have it all, and they won't stop. But the good news is all you have to do is put your Bitcoin into cold storage and watch the money power parasites pump your bags. And I know the past 7 months have been a bore. So what you gonna do when they come for yours? Never sell, never sell, never say yeah. Would you look at that, my friends? The sun's up. It's another beautiful day here on planet Earth, the day none of us are guaranteed. We're not guaranteed these days. Yeah, we're lucky enough to have anyway, so get out there, knock 'em dead, and remember, we're playing the same game as our psychopathic elected leads. That's right, it's the long game. So zoom out and have a fantastic day. And we'll be going live right away, so grab yourself a coffee. Join me for a quick one, and it's Friday, so by all means, sing it with me now. I'll run the banks of boom to spang. Whoa, cha-cha-cha-ching. It has not crossed. I repeat, it has not crossed. But when it does, that should be everyone's indicator that something has changed in the bull run. Now, I repeat, it has not crossed. It is curling down, but there is a chance when this bull run picks up, it's on a momentary pause for, I'm not sure, maybe till the election. But when it does pick up, you will see it curl back up. But 2025, at the end of it, when we start to see it curl, that should be everyone's signal that something has changed. And once that crosses, that would be maybe a spectacular time to change your plan as far as the bull run goes. Drew, what is your plan for this bull run?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Appreciate you asking. I have still a hard-sided plan to start taking about 20-25% off per month beginning May, June.
Walk away in May.
Around. Yeah, well, I'll probably be fully out of it by like August, September. If it keeps running in October, fine. Into November. But yeah, I'm using Pi Cycle Top Indicator and just basic 4-year cycle stuff. I mean, we had a few cycles ago, it was December, then November. A lot of people are highlighting October as kind of the easy shoot the fish in the barrel time frame for the top. In your intro, as we see the price fluctuate, we see short-term sided retail people get flushed out. That Bitcoin is being bought out in a very tangible way by BlackRock. BlackRock doesn't lose. I think that they know where the proof of power concept from the Department of Defense is going with Bitcoin, so they want to gather as much of it as they can before other people start realizing that. And really, I think that they're going to make it a little bit harder to time the top now that they have such a tangible foot hold in Bitcoin and Bitcoin holdings. And that's where my idea of kind of not waiting and just expecting it to be as simple as October comes into mind, because they are master market manipulators. And so, I'll be starting to ladder out beginning. But
Oh, there you go.
what's that?
Oh, you froze for a second.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the MACD getting close. I was looking at as well, and that was on the monthly, and even larger time frames. That larger MACD is coming dangerously close. But I was talking to Kelly just now, and he, was highlighting something he saw that we had that 7% dip in October of 2020 as well.
Yep.
We had a momentary blip where things looked a little sketchy. And we really didn't have all the fireworks come to Bitcoin until after the election of 2020 as well. So, it's been an interesting time frame, and it's a weird thing to say, feeling spoiled that we're sitting here playing around in the 60K range. But I still am of that opinion. And now we have the addition of AI, right? And we saw what Elon Musk rolled out last night.
That's
The
insanity.
conversation, the FOMO for AI and then proven data sets, I think is going to go out of this world. And not in a figurative way. I think he'll get to Mars in about 50 years. Okay, I'm not saying that we're going out of this world, this market, but the speculation on AI projects, on proof of work systems, I think is going to be really quite incredible. This bull market, I think we're kind of underselling it. But then, keeping tampered expectations, not thinking that this is the one where we go to $1 million per Bitcoin, but just seeing a break of diminishing returns, I think is what I equate to as the super cycle, where instead of just getting a 2x from our previous all-time high, we could be getting a 2.5x, or maybe even closer to a 3x. And that's why I'm pretty excited for the time frame we're at right now, and I'm very happy that I had some dry powder to take advantage of these last dips. And I rode the lightning. I longed it hard last night from I think I got in at like 58 or 59.3, I believe it was. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm long from $59,200, and I've taken half the position off the table right at the point of control in the shorter term at 60,800, and I'm letting the rest of it ride. Currently, the trade's up by 90%.
An old-fashioned take profit.
Yeah, an old-fashioned, and then the stop loss is well within profit as well on what's remaining on the bag. It's well within a free trade at this point. Seeing a little bit of turbulence now, just in the shorter term. Like, we had really interesting PPI data get released this morning. Came in at 0. Like, I believe that the producer price index coming in at 0, and we had just a wick try to get us above. Up into, it was about $61,482 where it wicked to for just a moment, and now it's seeming like it might be running out of steam. So in the shorter time frame, like over the weekend, I'm hopeful that we can prove that this $60,850 point of control is that level of support, and I'm talking just hyper focused on the short term for Bitcoin. But we got to prove it that that's our support. So it'll be interesting to see if that holds. We didn't get a massive impulse, and I don't know if all the markets are open yet, but we've seen some reaction to that 0% PPI data release. But do I believe the data that the Fed puts out?
Hell no.
That's the kind of aggravating thing. They're selling that inflation is gone, and then the average person is looking at a 55% increase on the cost of car insurance just within this last year, or under the Biden administration, rather. And it just feels like it's a spit in the face of the average middle class, lower class person that's sitting here having to deal with the costs and being told by this central bank that, no, what you're saying isn't real, and you just don't make enough money, right? It's just an incredible time frame to be alive.
Yeah, they're kind of, those type of people are in the govern me harder category where they just can't wait to just listen to whatever anyone tells them so they feel safe, right? They're just looking for safe because there's no safety in their entire life. Can you imagine? I mean, when you have a job in this economy, you know, as AI comes to the forefront, it's got to be getting more scary and scary. Even as a creator, I see more and more AI videos and channels where it's AI voice. I can tell it's AI generated videos because I've seen these. I've tested all these AI platforms where it's like you just put a script in and it'll just bang out all these videos. I see them now.
Absolutely.
And they've got thousands and thousands of views. So there'll come a point where people will probably just switch to that, not only as a content creator, but like as soon as your employer can replace you with a $10,000 AI bot, it's over.
Right. And that is, you know, something that, you know, when I first learned about crypto, I was a headhunter in hiring, you know, aggregating resumes and kind of going through information and interviewing people. And then, you know, when I realized how powerful blockchain would be and AI implementation of these things in a combined manner over the next 10 years, we are tangibly looking at the death of the middle class. You know, and this is where that movie Demolition Man becomes real. You know, you have automated, we saw it last night. They even have the automated taxis. You know, they have this robot that can be in real life customer service, not person. It's what I guess robot humanoid that's handing people goods over the counter, and they're no longer needing human interaction for a lot of the processes. So it does make you wonder, and it's been happening death by a thousand cuts. Now I think we're in that exponential stage of AI's development and then tangible, you know, implementation into the human existence. So seeing all these things, I'm trying to look for where I can make money off of it. And I think obviously crypto, but then data centers and GPU throughput, you know, infrastructure for these systems to actually operate off of, I think is going to be a massive, massive squeeze. And the average person that doesn't see what's coming is going to get absolutely destroyed in the next few years. And the funny thing is, those robots are going to be available for public sale, it looks like, beginning of 2026. Just in time for the economy to collapse.
20K or something like that? 20 or 30K for one? It seems outrageous. I know I'm sure the rich people will get it.
For the 30K for the taxis. I don't know the exact cost of the robot itself.
Oh, I thought the robots were 30K.
They might be. I know that the robot taxis, the vehicles, are coming out at 30K, and that in and of itself shows that he's coming in very aggressive on a low price point.
Yep.
To actually get them put into society at mass, you know. And this is, it's so funny. It's We Robot. We get the predictive programming of iRobot and Will Smith a few years ago. Very similar types of products on the television, and you know, hearing the conversations that these robots are having with people that were conversating with them. I mean, the robot, it's very interesting. It's trying to pique more conversation out of people by acting emotional. And honestly, this thing is probably going to hit exponential learning stages, if it hasn't already, over the next few years. And that's when things get real weird. So, you know, it's a tough thing to think of. You know, Terminator, more predictive programming. Terminator, Skynet went self-aware like August 29th of 2024 in the movie, right? All of a sudden, next month, October, here we are watching the Wii robot roll out. Just incredible, man. Absolutely incredible.
I put in the comment section there, Kymatica. I remember a long time ago on my conspiracy theory journey, I watched this documentary called Kymatica, when you actually had to burn them to like a CDR or whatever, and then put it into your computer a long time ago. And they talked about Agenda 21, which is kind of now Agenda 30. And they showed how the population would be sequestered into these heavily populated areas right in the breadbasket of America. And then everything else would just be used for resources, food, whatever, and it would be mined into oblivion. And I always wondered to myself, well, how would they get the people out of, say Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, and then when these hurricanes start rocking in and literally wiping the people off the map and their houses and everything, zero insurance, or what is it, 3% insurance of all the people. It's like, I see. They'll just, literally wipe people off the map. And then I thought, well, why would anyone go to these heavily dense basically concentration camps for humans? And then I realized, it's just like everything. They will somehow beg to get into these cities because as they wipe off the people, and they'll have, create a drought. No one will eat, but the food will be there. And everyone, I took a right hand dark corner there. But,
it's a real thing. And people don't want to acknowledge that this is a real thing. Just go look at Operation Popeye. Just go look at how effective we were at manipulating that system. Even 50 years ago. 50 years ago, we had precise capabilities within that idea. And I don't want to say exactly the words in tandem because they will come after your channel. But we are very, very acquainted with how to move those systems around. And, there's a large percentage of the population that does not want to acknowledge that that's real, that comes after people that highlight that as a potential possibility. And it really is something we have to take very, very, very seriously. And, if we don't take back these systems as far as their out of control usage, if we don't put that responsibility on our own shoulders over the next 2-3 years, honestly, we might not even have that long, then it will be a situation where 15-minute cities will be begged for because of that movement. So, this is a very serious subject matter. And, you can just tell the Hegelian dialect. It's like thesis, climate change. Antithesis, 15-minute cities. Solution. And if you cause the panic and the chaos within the locations that don't want to accept those cities, then the people come begging for that solution when they have it finally offered. It's just an incredible time frame.
Yeah, it's scary. And I feel in that conspiracy theory journey of mine that occurred roughly when I asked the question, why did Building 7 fall? That was the beginning of it. And I feel it led me to Bitcoin, because I wouldn't be here had I not accidentally stumbled on those things and then did deep dives into it. And at the end of the day, I feel so strong about Bitcoin because I feel like it is in the 11th hour, and the only thing we can do freedom-wise is to opt out of this system. And whether you're anti-banker or anti-government, you can be both or neither. But once you buy Bitcoin, you are both. You are anti-bank, you are anti-government, you're self-custody, and you're basically taking over control of your life. And that's a hard thing to do. A lot of people don't want to do it, but that's why I love Bitcoin.
Absolutely. And that's one of the most powerful votes out there that we have. Obviously we got the polls or whatever that we can go to. But capital flight and controlling our own value, being able to send it from peer to peer, that is ultimate power. We talk about the military, and the complex of a government is put together and enforced to control that monetary flow. Now we have a system out of Bitcoin that's been created that can just let that flow happen without any sort of intermediary. It is the ultimate enemy of a government that wants to be long-standing and have total control over people and money movements within it. And I'll be on that food. Food is that's another subject matter we get gone after on your channel a lot for talking about it. But, it takes work to produce your own food. It takes, when I got home after a long day's work yesterday, I had to, once again, go down, take care of all the chickens, pull all the eggs out of there, clean the coops out, do the work, put the new feed in there, go to the store, get more bags of food on the back end. So it takes a lot of work, and it's not something that is easy to do. But I think it's very fulfilling, and it really is good for my soul and my kids' soul to be able to go down there and feel that connection. I think it's really something we're missing here.
Everything worth anything is usually hard. And I mean, that's exactly the same. Like, think about how hard it's been in this past 7 months with Bitcoin. I mean, it's been so trying even on my patience, and I'm here every day, making these videos. You would think that I would be a little more used to the monotony of it, but the longer it goes, the harder it gets. And I think in that pain is really the lesson that I think we should all take from this, is that, anything that is worth having is hard, or else everyone would do it. And we know that now that we are the early adopters. And I feel like I'm quad downing, or I'm double downing, triple downing, quad downing on this concept that the money cabal wants all the Bitcoin. They don't come for a bit. They don't come to get exposure. They don't come to put a 4% allocation. They come for it all. And right now they're trying to push everyone out so they can grab it all. And that's why it's so important at this stage to keep focus. Don't get bored. Don't sell because you're bored. This is the only time you're going to put it in cold storage, get it off those exchanges. Because I'm now a full proponent that it's all a honeypot, and they'll 6102 Bitcoin, or they'll just make it that you can only take out very little. And anyway, it's all fiat exposure right now with those ETFs anyway, but it is still economic energy coming in. They're getting that worthless fiat, turning it into Bitcoin, and they want it all. They're not going to stop at a 4% allocation.
No, and you're dead wrong about that. And then we saw what the 1930s brought with, people were holding gold. That was the value that they could hold on to themselves. And then all of a sudden the army, the government, comes and asks nicely with guns in their hand for your gold. And a lot of people adhered to it. Lo and behold, after World War II was done, then Bretton Woods, the world dominant currency, was decided. It was the United States dollar sitting on troves of gold, even from the value of other nations. And we've come a long way from that time frame, but it is a very similar conversation in my mind, where we'll run into a point where if they can, by way of Coinbase or by way of GEMINI or by way of any exchange, reach out to the leads of that exchange and pull the Bitcoin, do essentially a exchange bail-in on our crypto accounts on these exchanges, they absolutely will do it. They have the precedent set through the Dodd-Frank Act already in the terms of banks. Now what happens if exchanges get listed along the lines of banks? Then you fall within the Dodd-Frank Act.
That's what they're trying to do anyway, right?
Exactly. And, it's a system that is intrinsically sick, and it will die at a point. How it dies and what it dies into, what it evolves into, still to be determined. But, those types of parameters already being set out should be enough to scare anyone to becoming their own bank and to taking advantage of the most powerful tool we've ever had in humanity outside of the pen and the wheel and fire. Being able to change money without a government entity is, in my opinion, one of the largest advancements to human technology in our entire history. So
it goes under the radar. That's such an important fact. I just want to take a second here. Thank Misco for 5 for Friday. Thanks, buddy. Much appreciated. And Bruce asked, what was the POOF? The POOF is in the past 7 months, 1.5 million Bitcoin has been taken off the exchanges by whales. So while everyone is bored, the whales are just accumulating. And this is what happens, right, Drew? Like these are these consolidation levels where the retail is doing nothing, but the whales are accumulating in waiting for retail to come in and FOMO and just pump their bags.
Right. And we're not even close to the retail coming in,
not even close.
That's why as content creators, it's our job to highlight the most exciting things going on, and it has been an absolute battle. I mean, things were awesome after the ETFs got announced and we had that quick run up to 73, but a lot of people have been bored out of the markets, and I know a lot of content creators that are like, what the heck am I doing wrong? And I don't think it's anything that we're doing wrong. It's just that the average person is asleep still, and they'll wake up once Bitcoin breaches up to the 80s. and then it'll get even worse once we get above $100,000. And again, just as cycles over and over prove, the average person that doesn't know anything about the tech comes in and they buy the top. Because then you got CNBC, MSN, CNN all talking about it. And they're like, oh, this sounds like a great idea now. Ooh.
Johnny December over on Rumble gave us a $5 super chat for our concert fund, this Bitcoin meetup.
I'm excited for that, man. I am super excited for that. And I'm looking forward to the next Bitcoin conference. This conference in 2025 going to be lit. 2026, I'm going to make the prediction, going to be very sad. Very sad. I think it's going to go from like, we made it, we are geniuses, 2026. They'll be like, I don't know if this is going to hold. And then after we go home from the 2026 conference, and I want to ask you like long term. So we dropped to the 2017 high after the 2020 bull market, where we pumped up to $69,000 and then fell all the way back down to that $17,000 range. Is it going to be as simple as it was in previous times to basically just put a line at 69K, wait for the, we'll go up to 120, 200, whatever, and then fall back down to that 69, 70K range, in your opinion? Or is now the BlackRock involvement enough to hoist that floor up a little bit higher come the next bear market, do you think?
Yeah, it's a tough one because I know that these hedge funds and these financial advisors, I know a bunch of them at the Squash Club, but they're going to be accosted by their boomer investors who they talked into Bitcoin. And then while it's rising up, of course, these financial advisors are geniuses. But when it has its first 30% pullback after, they're going to freak the F out and they're going to want their money out. And I think it'll come down to whether these financial advisors can talk some sanity into them, which I don't think they can, because I don't think that they're equipped enough with the orange pill.
Yeah. They're not orange pilled. They're not black pilled. They're plugged into the system. And you're dead right. I think you just nailed it. That first 30% pullback, that's going to be calamity because they're dealing with billions of dollars.
And they've never dealt with that in their whole life. Mind you, remember that. The boomer investor, 30%, that would be the worst investment they've ever made in their life, because they're used to just trudging along at like a 5-6% gain every year, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that is something to keep in mind, and that would probably, if what you just said, which I kind of actually agree with now that I'm really thinking through it, I think it's going to be as simple as that, putting the line at 69K, 70K. Sure, we could dip down to 60 or 55 or whatever when things get really awful. But that is exactly what I did last bull market. I just basically put a line from 17K and I left the line on TradingView all the way through the last bull market where we pumped up to 64.
Yeah.
And it was in my mind, when I see the price return back to this line, I am selling my cat. I'm selling my neighbor's cat. I'm even selling some hard iron goods, maybe some ammo, and I'm using all the money that I've saved and made through the bull market to once again back up the truck and refill the bags. That's exactly what I did this bull market. Heaviest amount of buying I did was at $17,000 Bitcoin. And it paid off well, obviously. And I think that, man, I mean, that's probably going to be the situation. They'll be like, oh, it's over. There's no more bull market. Then we find our floor right around 70K and then find that trajectory to try to get up to 500. I think that we could, be playing around the 500K range for Bitcoin around 2028, but it's going to take some time to get there.
What's your thoughts on bullish on Parade's comment here? Looks like Saudi Arabia is going to leave BRICS, could be bullish, ... for the Dixie. I haven't heard that. Have you?
Yeah, I haven't heard that Saudi Arabia is going to leave BRICS. And honestly, Saudi Arabia is going to play both sides of the fence this whole way through. BRICS is kind of a silly worry, in my opinion, because a lot of the Russian and Chinese assets are tied to the U.S. dollar, and it's going to take, 5-10 years to unwind those assets. If they really meant it today and they were going to, yes, we are going to fight the U.S. dollar completely. We're going to get our value out of the U.S. dollar. it would take years to unwind those assets. So, on top of the fact that then you're getting the full force of the United States government and the satellite systems above your heads aimed at you from pulling the value. I mean, that's when real bad things happen. And I kind of doubt that that's the situation. I really think it's just they want to find a alternative competitive source, and I say competitive with asterisks because by and large the world is still dominated by the US dollar, and that's not going to change unless someone depegs the US on a military field, which I also doubt. So, that's something to keep in mind.
I wanted to address this from K-Jam. He said, why not swap the profit into USDT and wait until the drop? That is the most amazing move you could make. However, even me looking at the charts every day, it's impossible for me to know when the best time to swap it into USDC. And I'm so adamant about the value proposition of Bitcoin and how scarce it is and how we haven't really wrapped our minds around what's going on here. To sell Bitcoin at a risk, let's say you think it's the top and you sell it and it isn't, and you're down. It's almost an unforgivable error in your life because this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. That's why I'm not selling. I won't take the risk at the top. I'll sit through another bear market because I'm not looking to take the profits off. I know some people are. That's a different story. But I think you have to first remember how important Bitcoin is to humanity, evolution, the monetary system, and our future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, in my situation, I do play that risky game. But basically, I take it off the table and turn it into real estate. And basically, at large, the last bull market, the only thing that I didn't sell was my Bitcoin. And I like to sell off all the altcoins and turn that into real estate. The Bitcoin is the bedrock of the portfolio and really, helps me insulate the losses. Altcoins go down by 99% in the bear market pullbacks. Bitcoin's the one, even, if it falls by 50, 70%, it does hold a stronger floor. And after this market, the main thing that I am worried about selling my Bitcoin for moving forward is that people are going to understand what the proof of power concept is that is happening within the Department of Defense and the Pentagon right now. The proof of power is proven data block sets that will be able to, be the bedrock of all of this that we're talking about with AI rolling out and all these other things being built upon it. On top of that, now you have BlackRock with these massive funds. Being able to sell altcoins, great, but I am kind of scared to death to sell off any amounts of Bitcoin that I'm having after this market is done. Because, this is the realization moment. This is where the markets are going to realize AI is coming. Data truly is the new gold, the new oil. And then we hit, I know we've been in exponential rage already, but I am of the opinion we haven't seen anything yet. Gold's market cap is somewhere around $15 trillion. And we've seen nation states stacking gold, preparing for something. But at large, we're only at like a $1.3, $1.2 trillion market cap for Bitcoin. We have a long way to go. Long way to go till we're really there. So it's beautiful. If you're watching the markets right now, and if you're involved right now, you're watching pianomattyb channel. While it's not cool, while it's not popular, you're positioned well. But it's up to us to share the stream and to put our boots on every damn day and come out here and talk about it so that the average person that's on the outside looking in can really see what's going on. You know what I mean? I feel like that's my job here in America with all my, my maxi American brothers out here, my sisters that fly their American flags and they want to have freedom for themselves and they see everything going on. That's where I come into play. Kind of getting them to wake up to that, because we are at a time frame where if we don't stand up and reclaim our sovereignty and our dignity in this world, it will never come back. So it's up to us to stand up every single day, screaming from the rooftops, Bitcoin and cryptocurrency cold custody is the way to go. And there is no other way around this. If you do not
make sure you like and subscribe. share this video.